Once again, this is Molly Zahorik, and I'm giving you a demonstration of the project itself that I did. And please feel free to grade me as we go along. Okay. Hello, my name is Molly Zahorik, and I'm going to talk to you today about the psychological development of adults and the elderly by using my mother, Joan Zahorik, who is 74, and I'm going to talk to you today about the changes over time that she has seen and the changes she's seen within herself, applying them to Erik Erikson's psychosocial stages of development, midlife crisis, stages of grief, and what I learned from this process. So I'm going to begin with Joan was telling me that what she thinks are the biggest changes are drug use, hard drugs, if you will, technology, as well as sex, the way it's perceived, and particularly sex education. So when it comes to recreational drugs, she said when she was growing up there was no hard drugs, that alcohol was bad enough. But where she grew up in Chicago, South Shore, that she grew up with family and neighbors, and there's always a sense of protection and belonging. And she believes that kids these days are lonelier and they use drugs more. And she believes that's from technology, and I'll get to that in a second, but she believes that hard drugs are easier to access, they're cheaper and more affordable, and because kids are lonelier, they are going towards the harder drugs. And for reasons of technology, she said that she thinks technology is a necessary evil, and that, those are her words, that we are way overindulged, and particularly if kids are growing up at an early age with technology, that they lose their sense of social skills, their sense of empathy, and with each generation it gets worse. She believes that etiquette and social manners, looking people in their eyes, reading others, have been declining due to technology, and that our youth is not socially connected, therefore lonely, therefore turning to those harder drugs. So she said that that is something she would like to change. Also, another point that she made was sex education. Sex in general was taboo, and she believes it still is a little bit to this day, but sex education there was none of growing up, and that fear of sex, whether it's lack of knowledge, lack of information and sharing, that it kept them from experimenting. So fear kept them from experimenting, and she says she thinks now it's gone way the other way. That there is less fear when it comes to our sexuality, especially for young ladies, and she thinks that sex is a huge responsibility, that women fear it less, and our young women are giving themselves away, not actually just young women, just women in general. She believes that we've come a long way with women's movements, women's rights, and fighting for our freedom and independence and respect, but yet we are letting ourselves, giving ourselves emotionally, physically, spiritually, and sexually without necessarily a sense of respect or commitment. And that's another thing that she would like to change, and thinks that we've kind of gone backwards in that sense. She thinks it's sad that girls are literally just sort of giving themselves pretty freely without thinking about the emotional, perhaps spiritual aftermath. All right, my mother, when it comes to Erikson's psychosocial stages of development, she's in stage 8, she's 74. So when she talks about this, I had asked her things about what she's most proud of, anything she would like to change, if she has any regrets, if she has a sense of fulfillment. And as she described that, she said she doesn't have any regrets. that she's grateful that she has the life that she has had, that she is still very busy behaviorally. She still takes art classes, she does yoga for her spirit and for her moods, for her perspective, and for her physical self. She loves music and believes that it connects people. That is the connection to the soul, and that it's a universal connection from person to person, if you will. Her main focus in life, her career, if you will, has been raising her family, and she still feels that she's still doing this, and she wants to continue to help primarily with her grandchildren. She also feels lucky that she has so much freedom and responsibility for herself. She believes with that freedom she has grown deeper spiritually, mentally. She does not fear death when it comes to aging and the aftermath. She believes there is eternal life and that we evolve into different species, if you will, and that she has eternal faith in God. Physically and emotionally, she says emotionally she's gone through hard times, and she's blessed and privileged, but at the age of 50 she went through a midlife crisis. She and my father permanently separated, and that she went through depression. She'd already had a history of depression. It runs in the family genetically, and due to some past experiences, she's already had a history of that. But what she really noticed during this was that she had a crisis in how she identified herself. She lost her sense of identity in her activities, her image of herself, friends, who she traveled with, if you will. She was used to doing this as a couple, and she really struggled with that for many years. So even though she went through that struggle and depression, she still believes that she has had a privileged life. She grew up in Chicago and had family and friends nearby, and she also understands that the emotional pain and depression forced her to grow up and become stronger. Physically, she said that sometimes she gets discouraged because she has a lot of pain, arthritis, less stamina, if you will. She believes some of it's inevitable, but she also takes ownership in that she didn't really take great care of herself physically growing up, and struggles with weight, and that some of that could have been prevented. When it comes to grief, she did say that there's many things that she's grieved about, things that I've already talked about, but she believes that she still kind of goes through in and out of denial sometimes, that she is a single self, if you will, and not married. She went through years of anger with that and has come to terms with that, and as I spoke about the depression already, and bargaining, she still feels like sometimes she bargains that if things were different, maybe she would be different, but overall she has accepted her life with gratitude, and what she is most proud of is her achievement as a mother and Lana of the family. She has raised 4 terrific people, in her words, that are kind and loving and that take care of themselves, and they choose to take care of others in their profession and personal lives by volunteering and service-oriented people. So she's very proud of that. What I learned from this was how deep my mom is spiritually, and how much she's really grown through painful experiences, and how she's learned so much about herself and life, and I'm grateful that she was willing to share that with me, and I did learn a lot from her. My sources were my mother, Jones of Warwick, the textbook Psychology in Your Life by Feldman, and the internet resources, Erik Erikson's Psychosocial Stages of Development, and educational resources. Thank you for listening. Is there any questions? All right, have a good day. Thank you.